This video would fully focus on arithmetic sequences, and we'll be doing some exercises, some questions to help you better understand it. And at the end of this, you should be able to do arithmetic sequence algebra. So now we'll be starting with the basics. There's an analogy I do like. It says that if you want to build a house, it must have a solid foundation. So we're going to start from the scratch, from the beginning, and hopefully as time goes on, you can understand the arithmetic sequence in detail. Okay? The first thing you obviously need to understand is that what exactly is a sequence and how it works. A sequence is a list of numbers in order. Now, a sequence can't just be two numbers. It has to be at least 3 and above for you to actually have a proper sequence. And the reason for that is because two numbers could just be 1 and 5. There's no discernible pattern of how the numbers is going to continue. We need at least 3 numbers for us to be able to know, okay, this is a pattern. An arithmetic sequence is a sequence in which the common difference is constant. And what that means is that a sequence normally has terms, which we can label the first term, the second term, the third term. Those are just the numbers like 1, 5, 9. That means that 1 is my T1, 5 is my T2, 9 is my T3. Okay? So now we are saying with an arithmetic sequence that whenever we subtract the second term from the first term, we subtract the third term from the second term, we should get the same answer. Now, if we get a different answer, it can't be an arithmetic sequence. Okay? But if we do get the same answer, it has a common difference, we would definitely say is an arithmetic sequence. The formula for an arithmetic sequence is Tn is equals to A plus, open bracket, n minus 1, close bracket, d. The Tn represents the term, right? The value of the term you're working with. The A represents the first term. The d represents the common difference, and the n represents the number of term, right? Or the position of your term. So let's try out some exercises on arithmetic sequences. So this is the first example for arithmetic sequence. Let's try to see how we can answer this. So it says that you have a sequence. So basically this is the sequence we're working with, right? Which is 4, 9, 14, and 19. It asks you here to find the common difference, the general term, the 7th term, and which term is equals to 74. So first and foremost, let's start with the common difference. Now, from what we talked about before, we said to calculate our common difference, we normally say it is the 2nd term minus the 1st term, which should be equals to the 3rd term minus the 2nd term. So if I do subtract this over here, I will notice that this 9 minus 4 gives me 5. I subtract this here, 14 minus 9 gives me 5. And I also subtract this here, that also gives me 5. So it means that our common difference is equals to 5. So the next question that it asks us to find here is to calculate our general term. And how general term actually works is by substituting our A and substituting our D into the arithmetic sequence formula. Now this is our general term. Now the next one asks us to find the 7th term. Now for us to be able to calculate the 7th term, all we just need to do is find T7. So we would replace our n with 7, which as you can see here would give you 35 minus 1, which would be 34. And that there will be the answer for the 7th term. That's all. And finally, they asked us which term is equal to 74. So this question here is asking us to find n. And this 74 we have here represents our Tn. Okay, so we can put it into our general term formula, which is Tn is equals to 5n minus 1. We would replace our Tn with the 74 we have over there. And we would simplify till we get our value for n. And that's it. So this question says determine the first 3 terms of an arithmetic sequence. The 7th term is given as 3 and the 12th term is given as -2. The first thing I try as much as possible to do is to represent it in such a way that I write it like this. T7 is equals to 3 and T12 is equals to -2. This is the sort of question we're given. That's all. So we need to know a little bit of simultaneous equation for us to be able to answer this question properly. But the core will still be arithmetic sequence. We're still going to use the formula that we have here. We would need to get two equations of what we're working with. And what does that mean? It means that this one here, what this tells us here, is that our n is 7 and our Tn is 3. And this other one here tells us that when n is 12, our Tn is negative 2. So we are going to substitute all that into that equation, both of them, individually. So now we actually got those two equations, and they were gotten from we substituting these two values over there. We subtract the first equation from the second equation, right? I'm going to say equation 1 minus equation 2. Now I'm using the elimination method to do my simultaneous equation. So basically I'm saying so as you can see, you get an answer as 5 is equal to 0 plus 5d. When you simplify this, it is going to give you d is equals to 1. Now this is my common difference. To get my first term, that's my a, I'll put this back into the equation over there, right? Either the first equation or the second equation. So it means that my first term will be negative 2, my second term will be negative 1, and my third term would be 0. Now how did I get that? All I just did was add the common difference to the preceding term for me to be able to get the next term. The last example that we're going to talk about today is how to answer arithmetic sequence questions when you have unknown terms, right? Things like K, R, different letters, and they want you to actually get what those, to simplify or get what those letters actually mean. So we're given an expression which says K plus 3 is the first term, 2K is the second term, K plus 9 is the third term, okay? So the first thing we're going to do here is try to get a common difference. Now, how we know something is an arithmetic sequence is by the common difference. So we try to get that. So as we said, we're going to say this is T2 minus T1. We expect it to give me T3 minus T2. So how we practice that is literally by doing it. Okay? So this is what you get. Now we can simplify it a little bit further. Now to get your first three terms, all we just need to do over here is substitute those stuff back into our equations. So the final answer would be 9, 12, 15. These were the sort of questions you expect to see in your exams when it comes to arithmetic sequences. You could also find some of them in your test. We have more videos like this, which will talk about more topics on sequences and series. This is the first in the series. To watch more of it, you can find it in the description below.